Hello to my lovely subscribers and anyone else who might have found this video randomly because I will be talking about something in this that I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about it on YouTube before. So this, as you can see, is a test bottle of Paul Smith Woman. So Paul Smith Woman was like super popular when I was at university, as was Paul Smith Woman Extreme. I have a miniature of that. This is a big old tester bottle. I think it maybe cost me about £12. I think even normally if you buy this, it's probably only about 25. This is a 100ml bottle, and because it's a tester, joyously, it has the notes on it. So the reason I got this one, partly is because I wanted to remember how it smells, because my friend at university used to wear this. It was her signature scent for a while, and then she sort of, is it an upgrade to go to Paul Smith Woman Extreme? Woman Extreme is much sweeter, but it's still not particularly strong. It's just a little bit more, maybe a bit more perfumey. So I just really wanted to smell this again, but also because this has been compared by someone to Flora Botanica. And I've now got all the things that I was waiting to arrive that I needed to make my video of if you like Flora Botanica, you might like this kind of thing. So this is one of those perfumes, but I wanted to wear it this week. So it says floral woody, and the notes here are listed. I love how they do this on some tester bottles. So it's got top notes: bergamot, clementine, blackcurrant. Heart notes of green tea, lily of the valley, and freesia. Base notes of vetiver, cedar wood from Atlas, and patchouli. So luckily for me, I do not get a huge amount of cedar and patchouli from this. I get a lot of that. It's like a very watery, sweet blackcurrant. I definitely get green tea. I definitely get freesia. I actually feel like I get rose. It's not listed here, but I think it says rose on... Let me have a little look at this. Yeah, it doesn't list rose, but I think everywhere else I've seen it, it does list rose. It feels like there's a bit of the Paul Smith rose in here. Now, I don't actually like Paul Smith rose, but the freesia is so beautiful in this. It's a very light, easy to wear, crisp smelling perfume that's not too sharp. All I'll say about this is I wore it on a humid day, and when I first got this, I remember testing it along with quite a few other perfumes. I was wearing maybe like 4 perfumes on my body in different areas, and this was the one that every time I moved, this is the one I could smell, and it dries down to be just such a pretty, feminine, like quite straightforward and simple smell. Slightly floral, slightly fruity, but that tea just gives it this lovely freshness. But when I wore it on a humid day, I feel like I go slightly anosmic to it, because wearing it, I felt like I had to keep topping it up, even though actually occasionally I would just move and I'd be like, oh no, it's still there. And I don't know whether that's just because I'm so used to the smell because my best mate used to wear it. Or whether maybe it just doesn't work as well when it's humid. I don't know, but I think it's a super pretty perfume, this one, and nobody talks about it. It's super cheap. I don't know if it's still in production or there's just still lots of bottles hanging around, but to be honest with you, I like the extreme version of this as well, although it has got that kind of pencil shaving-y wood in it. But for some reason in that one, it kind of works, because I think it's because it's a more old-fashioned version of that kind of cedary smell. But this, I think, honestly, is such an easy wear. I think if you like light perfumes and you don't want anything that's kind of too strong or too noticeable, anything that's... again, if you work somewhere where you're not supposed to wear perfume, or you need to wear light perfume, if you work in a big shared office, or if you work for the NHS, any of that kind of thing, Paul Smith Woman's a really good bet, because it is subtle, but it's very pretty. Yeah, I think that one's really nice. Okay. Let me just have a look. Yeah, if I read what's on Fragrantica, it says pink pepper, blackcurrant, bergamot, mandarin orange, clementine, and pear leaf in the top. Middle notes: rose, freesia, green tea, geranium, and lily of the valley. Base notes: cedar, vetiver, tonka bean, and patchouli. So I do smell rose in this, but it's more freesia. I do smell green tea, blackcurrant. I'm not sure, maybe at first it smells a bit more pink peppery, but I don't know, maybe, and the tonka bean, you know, certainly explains why it's got a beautiful sweetness to it. Pear leaf, I'm going to have to smell this again now. I don't know what's right in terms of that one. I'm going to put it that way so you can actually see the Paul Smith woman bit. Yeah, that's going to be better. So, next on the list, a classic. Whenever it's warm weather and I'm wearing something chic, I do tend to want to reach for this. Oh my good grief, it's just so heavenly. So this is Still by Jennifer Lopez. So reflective, you know. It's just, again, another absolutely glorious perfume that smells like heaven. This one lasts all day, but again, it's relatively subtle. You can massively overspray it and you're not going to overdo it. But it really, genuinely, like this one, I can smell on my skin and clothes for like at least 6 to 8 hours. I think it's an exceptionally good perfume, and it's another one that's so ridiculously cheap for how good it is. So the notes are top notes of Earl Grey tea, white pepper, mandarin orange, apple and rice. Middle notes jasmine, lily of the valley, freesia, honeysuckle, orange blossom and rose. Base notes pepper, that looks like, again, black pepper down the bottom, musk, sandalwood, iris and amber. I say it every time, I think this is the smell of jasmine tea, literally the smell of jasmine tea, but there's a little bit of mandarin and there's a sharp green apple in it. It has a slight creaminess from that rice and the sandalwood, but I would say predominantly to me I get a scrumptious jasmine tea, and this is pretty much the only jasmine perfume that is dominant in that jasmine that I actually like and can wear without getting a headache, because it does smell like jasmine tea. It smells like, you know, dried jasmine steeped in a delicious tea. It's just, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, people talk about Still all the time, and they rightly should, because it is, I think, Jennifer Lopez's best perfume. I know lots of people like her other perfumes as well, but I'm going to slip that one in there as well, because I've got another chunky one, I think. So what do I need to put up next? Let me just find... Oh yeah, so part of my declutter process is to be testing things out that I've bought and that I want to know whether I want to keep them. And this is one where this is super pretty, but it's just, I feel like in such a big collection, it's not special enough for me to want to keep. I mean, truly it is smelling really nice from the bottle right now, but again, I feel like if I'm going to reach for a perfume that is rose forward or is orange forward, I'm probably not going to go for this one. It is actually really pretty. In terms of the Jil Sander perfumes that I have had, I've got rid of, I think... I mean, Jil Sander Sport Water is in my top 20 for life. I love that perfume. But I think all the other... Oh, no, I've got Sun Delight. That's a weird, really weird chocolatey perfume, which I like in cooler weather. But I think this is the last one standing outside of everything else I've got rid of, and this would be my third favourite, definitely, out of everything that I've smelt from her. But like I said, I think in such a big collection, this one's just going to get drowned out, and it's a very big chunky bottle, so I wanted to try it again, see how I felt about it. All they tell you about the notes here is top notes rose, middle notes grapefruit, and base notes orange, and I really do think this is just a very simple rose and grapefruit fragrance that dries down to smell like a very light orange. It's definitely a skin scent. I kept it so I could try it again in warmer weather, but it's not really much stronger in warmer weather than I found it in cool weather. So I like it, but I'm probably going to declutter it just because I don't need it. You know, it's just kind of taking up space, and I don't feel like it's really going to get any love. So I might just declutter that one. I think it's probably for the best. Let me just make sure there's not too crazy reflections going on here. I'm just putting them all at weird angles today, just to get them in. All right, so what else did I wear? Oh yeah, I just fancied this one, so I went for it. Really pretty. This is Real by Alta Moda. Now this particular perfume, I think, is back available on makeup.uk. This is a dupe for Ralph by Ralph Lauren. I think probably I don't need all of these today, so I might just move this one in here. So Real, like I said, it just smells like Ralph by Ralph Lauren. What I'd say about this one though, it's much lighter, it's not as strong, it doesn't last as long, but because of that, it's not as shampooey. I find that the original Ralph, I really love the smell, but it's so intensely shampooey, that perfume, that I find it really uncomfortable to wear it. I have Ralph Love, that starts off smelling very similar to Ralph but slightly sweeter, also has that shampooey vibe, but it's a bit more kind of berry centric. But then that one dries down and it's got additional rose and candy floss in it, and like a sweet red apple as well, that somehow makes it smell a bit berryish. So I love that one. Every time I think of decluttering that, I'll wear it and I'll remember why I love it. Whereas this is like a really good replacement for the original Ralph for me, because I just don't like that shampooey vibe of Ralph, but I love the actual scent profile, you know. And plus this is super cheap. So the notes here are top notes of tangerine, Japanese loquat, don't know what that is, mandarin orange, osmanthus, lychee, cassis, middle notes linden blossom, magnolia, boreana, freesia, basmati rice, jasmine rose, white iris musk, sandalwood and amber. And it doesn't list apple, but I always think that Ralph just smells appley. I always think of it as like a mandarin, apple, freesia, boreana perfume myself. So it's super pretty, really like it. It's another classic. It's like that at the same time as Paul Smith Woman, because I used to have a bottle of Ralph and I stopped wearing it because one of my other friends at university, that was her signature scent. So I just kind of felt a bit weird wearing it and I didn't have it again for years. So what else is on my list? Okay. So I tried to wear this week and I just couldn't get on with it. And it's so hard to find a berry perfume that doesn't have like real screechiness going on in it. So it's a little heart shape, super pretty bottle. This is a Agatha Ruiz de la Prada. And this one, does it actually say what it is on it? Oh yeah, it's Love, 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 but this is the most recent version of Love, Love, Love. There's an older version in there that's in like a see-through bottle, and then there's this one. Super cute bottle. I really love Forever by Agatha Ruiz de la Prada, and I've tried a couple of others from her now, and to be honest, I think Forever might be the only one that I actually like, so I might just have to accept that and stop buying her perfumes. I tried the purple Forever one, which I think maybe I haven't put the video up yet for, because I'm a bit rubbish like that. But that one was horrific. It's very screechy again. So I really wanted it to work for me, and I thought it might, because it's less screechy and less shampooey than some of the other perfumes that I've got rid of because they're so screechy and shampooey or lotiony. But this one is just, it goes through a phase of being sweet and sugary and nice, but it starts really screechy and very acidic and sharp, and then it just kind of goes back to being really acidic and sharp. So I've tried it maybe 3 different times now in different weathers, I think I have to give up on it. I don't think it's for me. So this is top notes of blueberry, bergamot, mandarin orange and daisy, middle notes of blackberry, rose and jasmine, base notes musk and sandalwood. It has that same kind of what I consider to smell like a bit of a screechy musk. I think maybe that might be the problem. And it's got that same kind of screechy musk that I found in the Lancome perfume and in the Dolce & Gabbana Dolce perfume range. You know, where everything, like there's so much of it that smells kind of good, but there's something just piercing through that's like hitting me right between the eyes, that kind of thing. I'm sure if you've got loads of perfumes, some of you will have experienced that kind of, I like it, but it doesn't like me, you know, or there's just something just stabbing you in the head, like giving you an instant headache. It's one of those. I had that on, I couldn't get it off. It was really like that one. I don't know if the scent entirely lasted for ages, but that screechiness lasted for ages. So I put this over the top in the hope I could make a kind of berry milkshake. But this is Bonbons by Malaysia, and it's called Milk Cake. They finally put this on Fragrantica, so that's good. Apparently it smells exactly like the one that was called Milkshake. It's probably the same perfume, just in a different bottle. So I did put this over that, but nothing was getting rid of that screechy. But it did remind me that this is such a cute little perfume. And I haven't done my review yet because I'm lame. But for Christmas, my sister got me the little carded sample set of is it Showbird? They're lait perfumes, so they're milk perfumes. There's like Lait de Biscuit and Lait de Lait, or I think there's like one that's just like super concentrate, or Lait concentrate. Now, I haven't actually done my review of those yet, but I will. And my overall feeling, though, is that they kind of remind me of I mean, you can tell the quality's better, but in terms of the strength and what they kind of generally smell like, they kind of smell like milk cake. So I think that milk cake is a really, really excellent cheapie. You can get it from, well, nowadays, if you're in the UK, you'd have to get this from eBay because they've sold out from Makeup UK. But they do sometimes have the Bonbon perfumes on there. And I think, what does it say for this? It lists top notes of milk, middle notes vanilla, base notes sugar, and cake. I mean, that's pretty much it. It doesn't have like an actual cakey smell, really. It smells more like cooked milk. Cooked milk, vanilla, and sugar. So it's got an almost... Whereas the Showbird ones smells a little bit more... Well, some of them smell a bit more natural. One of them smells definitely very strange. They smell a little bit more natural like this, a bit more like actual milk and cream. Whereas this one, it has more of a kind of... Do I want to say... Yeah, more like a UHT, condensed milk, that kind of thing. But it's so pretty. It's light, it's easy to wear, it's a really good one for before bed if you like that kind of thing. So eventually when this like wore off, I just put this one on again, and I was just a little sweetie for that must have been at the weekend, because I wouldn't have been wearing that to work, that's for sure. So what do we have now? Oh yeah, oh my absolute love. One of my sweet loves. Oh, so good. Shade by Lush. So Shade is a absolute beaut, a true winner of a perfume, but definitely an acquired taste. This is described by Lush as a sandalwood and olibanum perfume. So that's like a kind of incensey sandalwood. But there's so much more. Again, like there's just definitely more going on here than that. So having a look at what's actually in it, this is the one that reminds me a little bit of Covert by Sarah Jessica Parker, but without that kind of very sweet chocolatey note. This is kind of like a stripped down version of that kind of profile. So it's got lavender in it, it's got flowers, it's got woods, there's definitely some citruses, like there's some tonka, and then that olibanum's like a kind of smouldering incense stick kind of smell, and it's just so lush. It's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's just a perfect skin scent. If you like sandalwood and you're not opposed to... I mean, it's not even massively smoky. It is much more like an incense stick, but very, very light. But it's very sweet. Well, I mean, it's not very sweet compared to this. But it's sweet for a sandalwood perfume. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty and it's so light. It smells insane when you first spray it. It smells green, it smells herbal. That's when it smells kind of, you know, a typical Lush perfume. And in fact, just a typical perfume made with very natural oils and ingredients and not too many synthetics. It has this kind of wild, green, fresh, natural wood smell. And natural smoky olibanum kind of slightly resinous smell, and then the more it dries down, it just turns into this beautiful sweet tonkery sandalwood with just that hint of... It's just beautiful. But yeah, definitely one you'd want to test. You know, you wouldn't want to take too many chances with that. What do I have next? Oh guys, all right, I'm gonna have to make sure it's safe. I can't risk knocking this over. So you might have seen, if you watched my shorts, that I finally have my travel set of Victoria Minya perfumes. Now, if you can see, this has crystals in, because all of her bottles do, all of her Hedonist bottles anyway. So this is Hedonist Iris. It comes in a pack. I will do a proper review. This comes in a pack of 5. So it comes with one that I used to have a full bottle of and was my signature scent for a short time before I had loads of perfumes, which was Hedoniste Cassis. That was the one that I got because there were elements of it that really did remind me of my previous signature scent, La Belle Cerucci. Cassis, so it's obviously blackcurrant. And then when I got that perfume from Scent City, which is also where I ordered this from, I also got, they sent me a sample. You can ask for 2 samples if you buy something. I got Hedonist Rose, and the other one I asked for was Eau de Hongrie. And I just absolutely love both of those perfumes. And so I was like, right, I want Hedonist Cassis back. I know I want a little bottle of Eau de Hongrie, although don't get me wrong, I would like a full bottle of that because it's in like it's like the Tokja Hungarian dessert wine, so it's actually in looks like a little wine bottle. It's so cool. But I wanted that, and I knew I wanted the Hedonist Rose, so I was like, I might as well just invest and get the other 2 that I hadn't smelt, because it doesn't really make sense to get one of the other sets because I don't think it hasn't got the rose in just the 3-piece set. So I hadn't smelt Hedonist, the original, and I hadn't smelt this one, Hedonist Iris. This arrived, and I know I don't normally talk about niche stuff, but as I say, because I wore that for my signature scent, I have a soft spot for Victoria Migne, and the only person I've seen talking about her really is Sarah Mays, because I think she has the 3-piece travel set. In fact, she just decluttered this one, so I saw that before this arrived. There was a problem with shipping. It got broken on the way, and so Scent City had to give me a refund, and then I had to reorder it, and they had to order it again from Victoria Migne. So it came over from Europe, and anyway, long story short, I smelt this and I was blown away. This iris perfume has instantly jumped into my favourite iris. And I think if you like iris, it's worth just getting a sample of this maybe, because I think it's super pretty. It's soft, it's gentle, it's very feminine. And I just sort of fell head over heels in love with it. And you'll understand why when I read you the notes. So the notes in this, which aren't done as top, middle and base, but hopefully you can work it out. Iris, musk, black currant, cacao pod, cedar, ladamon, bergamot and pink pepper. Now the votes on this have iris and musk right up the top, followed by black currant and cacao pod. So I like iris, I love musk. Blackcurrant is absolutely one of my favourite notes in perfumery, and as I said, if you watched my Q&A that Carmen Centrix tagged me in, all of my signature scents have had blackcurrant in. And I love chocolate in perfumes. I love a chocolate note. So this is it is powdery, but the blackcurrant is stopping it from going like too powdery. Heavenly iris, heavenly musk, a little hint of blackcurrant, and a sprinkling of cocoa powder. It is warm and cozy and beautiful. I absolutely think I probably have worn this at the wrong time of year because it is quite a light and subtle skin scenty kind of perfume. So this is one that I think I will appreciate. I mean, I actually wore it to work because I was so overexcited. And I could smell it for but again, it's one when you just get whiffs of it, you know. So I think I'll save this for kind of evenings and weekends because it is quite special and it's very cozy. And again, I'm not too keen on like wearing cozy things to work because I've got stuff I need to do and my job is a sort of half at the desk and half active. So if I'm at my desk and I'm wearing a cozy perfume, it's quite difficult to actually do it and like concentrate. I just want to be wrapped up in a blanket and all cuddly, you know. But I just think it's beautiful. And I mean, I wore 2 things that I would consider to be quite niche, but not famous niche, if you see what I mean, like actual niche, you know, this week. So I'm going to talk about the other one now, which is so beautiful. Now, again, if you've seen my shorts, you will have seen me talking about a different perfume from this little collection I got. So this is Frank from and Fragrances, or I think they're probably called Und or something like that, but I do not know how to speak Swedish, so I'm not going to attempt it. And this is probably Franck or something like that, but again, I don't know how these words are pronounced, so I'm not going to make an absolute dick of myself. But this is Simon Constantine from Lush. This is his perfume brand. Now, there was no way I wasn't going to try this, and I was waiting to use the money from my Buy Me a Coffee account, and some of my lovely subscribers have given me money on there, so I invested in this because I've never seen people talk about this brand like for all of the perfumes. I found a few, and it's mainly men actually talking about this. I've seen a couple of guys talking about some of the perfumes, some of the older ones, but they now have 9 perfumes. And if you spend 25 quid on their sample set, if you're in the UK, you'll get it delivered for free. So it's £25 for 9 perfumes, 9 niche perfumes, eau de parfums, 2 mil. So I mentioned Mad because I think Mad is the one that everyone will actually go. Is it? No, it's not Mad. I've got it wrong again. It's called Far. Mad is the vanilla one. The lemon cheesecake one is called Far or Four, I imagine. So I think that one is really approachable. If you like gourmands, you're going to probably love it, unless you like gourmands that are so sweet that they're like full sickly. If you like the idea of a tart lemon on a kind of cheesecakey sweetness, then you're going to love it. So I made that short because I think that perfume's incredible. But this is my favourite. Frank is my favourite from that collection. This is the one I wore to work. As you can see, I got through just over half of this sample, and oh my god. So I absolutely love this perfume. I think it smells like heaven. Let me just put it there. It will get lost on this thing. The notes in this are top notes of lime and lemon, middle notes of olibanum, there it is again, mango and ylang ylang, base notes olibanum, myrrh and vanilla. And this is such a perfect perfume for this particular fuss pot. But it does actually smell relatively similar to Love from Lush. So Love, it has quite different notes. It's appley, it's got apple and lemongrass, and then florals and woods. But something about the general profile of Love is quite similar to the general profile of Frank, and I recognised it pretty much straight away. But Frank is softer, smoother. It's more mango and lime rather than apple and lemongrass. It's slightly sweeter. I think I would say it's lighter, but it's a bit unfair because obviously I'm using it from this little thing, and these have very small sprayers, whereas these are big sprayers. You get big sprays out of it. So I've worn this quite a few times. I barely even made a dent because that's actually one of the stronger Lush perfumes I have. But Frank is so fabulous. I think next month I'm going to have to buy myself a small bottle of it. Now, if I'm being sensible, I'm going to buy myself it's like a 10ml bottle, which is £35. These are very niche perfumes, and therefore they are quite expensive. It's 125 quid for 50ml of the eau de parfum. But they do offer eau de toilette versions, and those are £69 for 20ml, but you can get a 10ml of the eau de parfum for like 35. But they also very, very happily, you can buy these little 2ml samples of the eau de parfum, and those obviously you can just get whatever you want. You don't have to get the full sample set. So if you just want to smell Frank, you can do that. If you want to just smell Far, which is the delicious lemon one, lemon cheesecake, then you can just get that and just test it. And I really suggest, if you like the sound of a lemon cheesecake perfume, I really suggest that you try that, because it is it's so stunning that I'm fully intending on getting a bottle of that as well. I haven't done a full day's wear test of that one yet, but I'm pretty sure that I at least want a little 10ml bottle of that. When you get the sample set, you also get a £25 voucher off for any 50ml bottle. So although I don't think I want to invest in a £125 bottle of perfume, really, because again, I don't really need any perfumes that are that expensive. I've got so many perfumes, but I might consider maybe getting the eau de toilette version of Far, just because that one is so sweet and syrupy and gourmand that I probably could do with having like a lighter version of that, whereas Frank, I wouldn't want a lighter version. I definitely want that in the eau de parfum. So I don't know, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. I might just not use the money off and I might get 2 10mls, but we'll see. Either way, I am so excited. I will put up, I've got to edit my video. I made a little video, so my review of that range will come up quite soon, and any of my subscribers who watch me, because I talk about Lush quite a lot, you are going to love Simon Constantine's new range. It is fabulous. Quite a few of them are recognisably a little bit Lush-like, and that's probably why I like them, because I really like Lush perfume. So, all right, on to the next thing. So, I was watching Tammy Roxanne. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but I was watching one of her recent videos, and she had carded samples for 2 things that I didn't even know were out. I don't know, maybe in Canada they've got all these things way before the UK and possibly even America, but she had a new Gucci one. Is it Gucci Blue Magnolia or Gorgeous Magnolia or something? Which wasn't even on their website, so I was like, that's really interesting. Anyway, I wasn't really interested in that one. What I was interested in was the new Floral Street perfume called Sweet Almond Blossom. So if I just show you the little picture. So this is Sweet Almond Blossom, and I mean, it's another collaboration with the Van Gogh Museum. Now, I've said before, I mean, to be honest, I actually work in the arts, so I love art stuff. Give me all of the art stuff. Give me stuff inspired by artists. Give me stuff with beautiful paintings printed on the bottles. I want all of that. However, what I want is a decent perfume inside those bottles, and I've not discovered that yet. So I loved Sunflower Pop from Floral Street, but the joy of that perfume lasted for like 20 minutes and then it dried into something really boring, and I'm pretty sure the last time I tried it I recognised a bit of that tar smell in it, so I was like, that's not going to happen. And I've been looking for something that gives me that same kind of effervescent vibe, and to be honest, I'm closer with like a mango-y version here and this apple-y version here, because it's like a tangy, like beautiful tangy effervescent smell. But I was excited about this one because this, what's it called again? Sweet Almond Blossom. Firstly, lovely name. Secondly, one of my favourite prints from Van Gogh. So beautiful. I've actually got some clothing with this printed on. Anyway, the notes are pink pomelo, passion fruit, mandarin, apple blossom, heliotrope, tonka bean absolute, vanilla, sandalwood and matcha tea. There is not a single note in this perfume that I don't like the sound of. I love pomelo and grapefruit. I love passion fruit. I love mandarin. I love apple blossom. I love heliotrope. I love tonka bean. I love, well, I mean, I don't love vanilla too much most of the time, but generally if it's mixed with tonka, I normally get on with it fine. I love sandalwood, and oh my god, how much do I love matcha tea? Come off it. So I was very excited. I got my bum to John Lewis, and they did not have the perfume. They only had the room spray, and I was like, they hadn't run out, they just didn't have the perfume, which seemed insane. So I smelt the room spray, so I sprayed it on this little guy. I mean, firstly it smelled like a room spray, so I was like, okay, I'm assuming this is slightly different to the actual perfume because it smells like a room spray. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Boom Savon from Jean Arthur's. Now, I love that perfume, but this one I would say is not, maybe not quite as pretty as that one. It's a little bit more floral. It's a little bit more, It's a little bit sharper, I'd say. But again, I was making these judgments from a room spray. Very pleasant, perfect for a room spray. Maybe smells slightly too much like a room spray, like to imagine it as a perfume, if you see what I mean. So it's kind of gone now. It's very light, very fresh, very pretty. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really liked it, so I was excited about smelling the real perfume. So I had to go all the way to Space NK. I mean, I say all the way, there's actually one quite near where I work. But, so Space NK, I was hoping to smell a Stella perfume, a Toka perfume there, but they don't do them anymore, annoyingly. So I went in and I sprayed it on here first, gave it a quick sniff, and I sprayed it on my skin to see what it would smell like. Big mistake. All I can smell on here is that tar smell. So I'm sorry to say it, but Floral Street, again, they're another company that so many of their perfumes have that disgusting smell in that I hate, that weird burnt rubber, burnt wood smell. So whatever it is that modern perfumes use, because it is not in any vintage perfumes, that I've never come up, nothing from the 90s, nothing from the 80s, nothing from before does have that disgusting smell. Nothing from the 2000s. That is a modern smell. I don't know what it is, but whatever chemical they use, it absolutely destroys a perfume. It is all I can smell on here. All I can smell. That is not what I could smell on here. So the room spray does not have it, which means I assume it's a musk. You know? It's disgusting. It's all I can smell. It's so sad. So I got a very brief kind of Boom Savon vibe. That's all I could think of. And then gone. I had to scrub my arm like mad to try and get it off, and I could not get it off. So, but it's all I can smell. I literally cannot tell you what this perfume smells like, because all I can smell is that foul stench of whatever the hell that chemical is. Oh God, awful. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it smells like the notes suggest. I suspect that there is a very slight room freshener vibe to it, just generally. And, you know, maybe, is it shampooy? Not really from what I remember, but I don't know whether that's been coloured by the fact I was actually smelling a room spray. But as a room spray, absolutely beautiful, really, really nice. So the other things I tried, I'll just tell you quickly, because I went into John Lewis and they didn't have they didn't have the perfume I was looking for. I thought I'd retry Electric Rhubarb, just because I said I was going to compare it to this one, Hugo Woman, because Hugo Woman is what I was thinking about, what I thought it reminded me of when I tried Electric Rhubarb. So this is Floral Street Electric Rhubarb. The notes in Electric Rhubarb are Electric Rhubarb vegan perfume, English rhubarb, Australian sandalwood, island gardenia, frangipani and jasmine sambac. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know how, but Electric Rhubarb just reminds me quite a lot of Hugo Woman. Totally different notes, but that's the general vibe it gives me, except I actually think Hugo Woman is nicer. It's like Hugo Woman is like a tangy floral, and that's exactly what Electric Rhubarb is. I don't know that I would be able to recognise half of the things in here except for the sandalwood. It's got like a tangy, yummy, fruity vibe. It's got a pretty floral vibe. I do sense jasmine, but it's not too much. And then it's got this gorgeous, like, smooth sandalwood, and I don't get a huge amount of that kind of the horrible tar smell in Electric Rhubarb. So that one although again, I don't know whether that's just because I was comparing it to something else on my other arm, which all I could smell was that, because I'll talk about that in a sec. So, but I would say if you're interested in Electric Rhubarb, give Hugo Woman a chance as well, because I think that one is such a similar kind of perfume and it's so cheap in comparison. So the other one that I tried on my other arm was one I tried ages ago, and I talked about on one of my what I wore last week's, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of pretty, it's really light, blah 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 blah. Now again, like, did it smell like this when I first smelled it and I just didn't realise, and I'm just really hypersensitive to this chemical now? Or is it just so bad because it's warm weather? I don't know. But I smelt, I think this is called Arizona Bloom. Yeah, this is Arizona Bloom. So this is Arizona Bloom. Beautiful bottle. I think the problem with the Floral Street is I'm pretty sure the bottles are way nicer than the perfumes inside, but that's just my opinion. Arizona Bloom says it's a vegan perfume, Balinese coconut, Madagascan black pepper, oak moss, salted musks, jasmine petal, fig leaves and cashmere woods. Again, it just all I could smell. So at first I got a little hint of that very watery, it's like a coconut water, this one, rather than a coconut cream, and there was a bit of sweetness, but then it just instantly turned into this foul hell smell, and it was so strong, and I sprayed it on before I got on the tube, and then that's all I could smell. And the problem is, this really triggers things for me now, because now I recognise this smell. The amount of people I smell wearing, it's like this Baccarat Rouge nightmare at the moment, because everywhere in London, all on the tube, everywhere I'm walking down Oxford Street, everyone smells like some kind of version of the cheap knockoffs of Baccarat Rouge. They all smell like the Zara, is it Red Temptation? And that is full of this smell. I've also smelled quite a few people recently who smell like they're wearing the kind of Latafari perfumes, the really sweet ones, like the Amir Al Oud and the Camera, including men. I've smelled quite a few men who smell incredibly sweet but then have this tar smell, and it's just everywhere. And so I just spent my whole journey being like, oh no, I've got that tar smell on me. Yeah, so I think I'm sort of just giving up on Floral Street. I think I'm done with it, because I can get beautiful perfumes like this. I don't need to spend £70 to £100 on a Floral Street perfume. I can get something from companies like this, like from and get these amazing, like, unusual perfumes that have beautiful natural smells in them. So anyway, well, it's been a bit of a ranty one today, hasn't it? Yeah, I just had 2 different days where I had to come home smelling like tar, and it made me really sad. As I said, like the Electric Rhubarb, not so much that vibe. So possibly I'm just going to check now, did it list musk? I feel like it's definitely a modern synthetic musk. No, it doesn't list musk. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe the things that are listing musk, it doesn't list musk in the Sweet Almond Blossom either, so I don't know. Oh god, it was just... But yeah, I'm telling you, in the Sweet Almond Blossom room spray, that doesn't have that disgusting smell in it. It doesn't, so I'm guessing it's musk, because you wouldn't bother putting musk into a room spray, but you would put it in a perfume, and it's like a fixative. It really sticks to the skin. So anyway, yeah, my rant is over. I will be putting up... I just filmed my video of the Philosophy body sprays, so that's coming up soon. I've filmed this video of the And fragrances, so that will be up soon. I haven't filmed my Victoria Minier yet, but I will. I've got loads of stuff coming up. I've still got loads of declutters, and as you can tell, I'm still slowly adding, so they'll be, by the time these have finished, the ones I've already filmed, I'll have a whole new batch of stuff to declutter. Anyway, I promise there'll be some more interesting videos coming up soon. And thank you so much to everyone who subscribes. You are all fabulous. Thank you for humouring me with my little hobby, which brings me quite a lot of joy. Bye, guys.